Welcome to the Women Abroad podcast. I'm your host, Lizet Esquivel. This show is part of the section Women Who Inspire, where you will learn stories and experiences of successful female expats from all over the world. They will share with us the secrets that nobody is willing to tell you about living overseas. Okay, welcome to another episode of Women Abroad. My name is Lizet Esquivel, global editor in Welum.com, section Women Who Inspire. And today we're going to travel to Czech Republic with Marimar. So I will introduce a little bit about her story. Marimar, oh my gosh. Marimar, tell me again your last name because,
It's Klarzik. It's Klarzik.
It's classic, yeah. Oh, so she's German, Spanish. She has been an expat her entire life, living abroad in a different culture since she was 2 months old. Her last 5 years, 5.5 years, she lived and worked in Dubai, where she, together with her husband, built an LLC for long-distance real estate investing in the USA. Both enjoyed the process and successes so much that they decided to expand their real estate business, Dopal Real Estate, to Czech Republic. Now, Marimar is the luxury project manager for Keller Williams Czech Republic, as well as focusing her strength in social media for Dopal Real Estate, so putting into practice her digital marketing skills. So Marimar, welcome to Women Abroad podcast. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you so much for the invitation.
So your life is very interesting. You know, you have lived your entire life overseas. So tell us a little bit about your story. You were born and you, in 2 years, 2 months old, you moved. Tell us a little bit about your long journey.
Yes, pleasure.
Until you arrived to Czech Republic.
Until I arrived to Czech Republic. So as you just said, I was 2 months old when my parents, they already knew before I was born that they were gonna move to Costa Rica. So 2 months after I was born, they moved there. We were living there for 5.5 years. My siblings were born there, so they're little ticos. Afterwards, we moved to El Salvador for around 5 years. Then we went to Bogota, Colombia for 1.5 years. We moved back to El Salvador. Then it took us back to Europe. We were in Spain for a while, in Madrid. And then afterwards, it was Munich, where I also went to university. I had a short stint for 1/2 year in Singapore while I was doing that. And then once I finished my university degree, I went to Dubai, and that's where I met my husband. We did what you were just telling the audience. We built an LLC. We invested from Dubai in the US in real estate. We enjoyed it so much that we said we want to do this full time. So we took our business to the Czech Republic. So that's how we came here. And
but why did you move to Czech Republic?
My husband is Czech.
Oh.
My husband is Czech. And I said, listen, if we're going to go to the Czech Republic, it has to be Prague. I need the city. I love the city. And it has to be the capital also because my family's everywhere around the world. So I need an airport to just have everyone come and visit me and for me to just take a flight and be gone and visit them. I mean, normally.
Oh, I see. So, and do you enjoy your life in Czech Republic so far?
I do so much, yes. I mean, it's been a bit difficult with the current situation, but the people are very nice. I surround myself a lot with expats as well. So I do not speak Czech just yet. So that is, it is the first time in my life that I'm living in a city and country where I do not speak the language. Before I was always capable of doing my own things. So that's the first time I experienced this here, but I'm enjoying it very much. I mean, coming from Munich, it is very similar. You know, it's a smaller city. the food is similar, the mentality can be similar, not so much, but I do see a lot of parallels there as well. So so far so good.
And well, now that you mentioned about the language, what is the reason that you still are not speaking the language? It's because it's so very complicated, you are not interested, or you think that you were going to move soon, so
No,
why?
so I intend to stay here for a while, definitely. It is a very complicated language. Yeah, so one of my, it took me, I think it took me 2 weeks to say the word ice cream, which is zmrzlina.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, complicated.
So it is a bit complicated. I do believe that by now, you know, you pick up a lot along the way from the language. But I did take an intensive Czech course last year, but you know, I'm cheeky, so I see that you can get along quite well with English in Prague. So the pressure is not so big right now. So I can focus my energy on something else than studying the language, but it's there. I will do it eventually because part of my family, they're Czech. So I do want to be able to communicate with them.
So people, can people survive in Czech Republic just speaking English?
Absolutely, especially in Prague. Maybe if you go to rural places, as is, I think in any place in the world, it's a bit more complicated. But you know what? If you want to communicate, hands and feet, you know, you will be able to somehow point at what you want to eat or want to drink. So if people want to communicate, they will be able to communicate. That is my experience.
Interesting, because you know, when I talk to other people, for example, in Switzerland, if you don't speak any of the four languages that are official, you cannot survive. Only with English, forget it. No, maybe for the basic things, but no.
But sometimes I'm not, and I don't know if this is the case in Switzerland, but I have experienced or observed people snob other people just because they don't speak their own language. But I think that the root cause is different. But I have to say here, if you order food, if you go to the supermarket, if you go to the flower shop, people speak English. And as I say, worst case, you just point.
Prague, yeah, because you live in the capitals. Always in the capitals, it's easier to get, you know, people for the tourism. People have to learn other languages. That's great. Okay, for example, and in your case, how many years have you been living in Czech Republic?
We're approaching 1 year now.
1 year now. And in Dubai, you live around 5 years?
5.5 years, yeah.
Amazing.
So that was quite the switch from Dubai, which is such a big city, and to come to Prague. But it's very charming here. So I do miss Dubai sometimes, but it's also very nice here, you know.
You know, I remember that one time I talked to a woman who used to live in Prague many years ago, around 10 years ago. And she told me that she was very surprised because everybody says, oh, Paris, the most beautiful city in the world. But when she went to Prague, she said, Lizet, forget it. Forget it. Prague is the most beautiful city in the world. Paris is very overrated. She mentioned that. I don't know. I don't know, but
Paris has its charm as well. I mean, personally, nothing tops French food for me. I'm a foodie. The food here is quite hearty, so it's not as sophisticated, I want to say, like very carefully, but you know, they eat well here. So, but I do understand what the lady meant. It has so much charm, especially now. You know, you see the cherry trees are starting to blossom. And there's something in the air. You just need to come here and be here, and then you'll understand what I mean.
Yeah. And I was curious when I thought this woman has traveled around the world, and if she's saying that, it's because there is a point. So someday I will discover if she's right or wrong. And you are you are half Spanish, half German, Spanish and German. So. Correct. What stereotypes did you face? Maybe in your case it's not, but not very important. But I have to say the question. What stereotypes did you face for being Spanish German in Czech Republic? Have you noticed?
Personally, I've been welcomed with arms so wide, I was a bit overwhelmed by it. Especially being German, the German language, that's a golden ticket here at the moment. They're looking for a lot of German speakers because they have this, there's this atmosphere of they want to expand. So they also want to build bridges to other countries, which is, I think it's a very interesting time to be here. And generally living abroad as a German, I always was welcomed. I never faced any issues because they know Germans, you know, we work hard, we're on time, you
respected, very rigid,
yes,
but
yes.
successful as well.
Yeah, so when we work, we focus. And then afterwards, we leisure time, we take it easy as well. But when we work, we work. So
in your case, it's better your car, I'm German than Spanish. It works better.
Well, you know what? When I work like a German, but when I party like a Spanish person. So I have a good mix of both things.
The best of them is you're very smart. Okay, so but anyways, maybe what challenge did you encounter and how did you overcome them, if there is any?
So the general challenge I face here, but to be honest, I think I would have that wherever I went after being in Dubai for such a long time. It's just takes a while until you adapt to something new. And I remember reading one time that it takes like 3 years to get used to a new place. So the first year, you know, everything is new. The second year you start comparing like, oh, but this is how it was there and this is how it was here. And then the third year is when you actually start really belonging there. And I have the feeling I'm starting to get into the second phase where I'm comparing a lot, like, oh, I missed this. It was easier here, but here I have this, so this is nice as well. So it goes a big, you know, back and forth right now. As I said, with the language, which I would have expected to be the biggest hurdle, I did not. They do have offices where they speak English. So they have a big expat community. So people can go there and communicate. And in the worst case scenario, I'm very lucky, my husband, he calls for me. So when I really, if I feel like I cannot communicate, especially if it's over the phone, because the body language is missing, my husband is of great value there, definitely.
So basically the language is the challenge that you're facing right now. In comparing Dubai with, I guess, can you tell us the differences between, for example, you work in Dubai and now you work in Czech Republic. Tell us the differences that you see or you notice in the work culture, for example. How's to work in Dubai and how's to work in Czech Republic?
So in Dubai, it's interesting because it's such a melting pot and people come and go all the time and they bring their own culture as well to work. And as I just mentioned, you know, when I work, and then certain colleagues, I would observe like, oh, okay, so it's time to work and they're doing this or they're doing something else. And I wonder like, why is that? So it became so big for me at one point that I thought like, there's a parallel to see like how their countries are running to the way they work, if you know what I mean. So it was a bit challenging also because you need to be careful how you address people. You know, the cultures are very different. So you need to be very switched on and respectful all the time because you don't know how they do things back home and they don't understand how you do things back home, etc. So always keep that in the back of your mind. Here it's European, so I know the ambience, right? So it's also a bit different because being in real estate here, I don't need to go to an office all the time. So I can also work from home or I can meet clients, etc. So the work dynamics are a bit different. And also just to clarify, while I was in Dubai, I was based in Dubai, but I was working in aviation. So also I was flying most of the time. So my workspace was with different colleagues every shift. Mm-hmm. Okay, but we had the same training. So I mean, the training, this is what got us together where we understood like this is what is expected. And then the culture comes into play as well. So it was very dynamic all the time.
Can imagine. So according what you are saying, in Czech Republic, the work culture are more flexible. It's more flexible.
From what I've experienced so far,
Mm-hmm.
yes. But it might also just be the environment I'm in at the moment, right? But this is what I've experienced. Yes.
And in Dubai, there are a lot. I see that the difference also is about that. So a lot of nationalities together in the same place, and maybe in Czech Republic, it's more maybe expat from Europe. That's it. Not like in Dubai, that 90% of the people are expat.
Right. No.
Right?
So of course, I mean, here the locals outnumber the expats. Where in Dubai, it's the other way around. As you just said, I think 85% in Dubai were expats, and the rest are actually locals. But it works beautifully in Dubai, and I have the feeling here it works as well. You know, everyone has their system, and you need to adapt a little bit to your surroundings as well. I believe if you're an expat, if you go somewhere to work, you need to accept that you know, you need to be respectful of the culture as well if you go there.
Okay, in the leadership, do you notice a difference in the way that the you know, the leaders in the different countries behave with the employees? Or
Yeah, so in Dubai, I've come across everything. So there have been very power hungry individuals who make you feel very little. So obviously that's not very pleasant, but they have been amazing leaders as well, that show you the way and they support you, and you really have the feeling they have your back. So that is, of course, an amazing way to go to work. And here I'm very lucky to have an amazing franchise owner who I work with for the luxury department. So we're developing it together. And she's a visionary, and she has lived abroad as well. She went to Harvard. She's an amazing woman, and I feel very blessed to have met her, and that she's giving me this great opportunity here to start my career and to support me.
wow,
Yeah,
amazing! So congratulations.
thank you.
It seems like you're very lucky for having that leader. So tell us about your work. You are a real estate specialist. You and your husband have this real estate company, and also you work in Keller Williams. So tell us more about what you do in simple words, because we are not expert in real estate. What specifically, what you do, and what is your role, and the role of the company? What can you do for the people in the both in your own company and in the other one?
Okay, so basically it works like this. My husband and I were brokered by Keller Williams, and we try to find our own clients, you know, to help them with whatever needs they have to buy, sell, invest in Czech Republic, even abroad, because we have international connections to Dubai, Costa Rica, Mexico even. So it's very diverse, also Germany, of course. And then I have my other part of my job is where I meet my boss and we discuss how we're going to develop the luxury department. I come from service delivery in Dubai, so I learned a lot about what it means to really, you know, have an experience for a customer, and customer service is just so important. And I've never witnessed anything like they do in Dubai when it comes to customer service. So they're top notch. So I'm trying to bring all of the things I learned and I was taught to the luxury branch here. And we're trying to develop it from its core to launch it soon here.
Great. So you also mentioned that your role it's about digital. So you are in charge of the social media, or?
Yes. So we're also trying to build up a social presence. And last year I did a diploma in digital marketing. So I'm slowly trying to develop the theory I learned into action through our social media for Dopal Real Estate.
So when you in the company, for example, if I'm a client, to understand, if I am a customer and say, oh, Marimar, I want to move I live in Germany and I want to move to Mexico, you can help me to get to buy a house?
Yes, I could, because I have colleagues in Mexico, so I could refer that person if they want to buy something. If they want to move there, there are also companies that help people to move. You know, they help them with the papers, etc. We're not focusing on that at the moment. We could, but not just now. That's not our main focus. When it comes to social media, I'm trying to create funnels to know, like, okay, how can we capture people, and you know, just make Instagram nice, and Facebook and LinkedIn, and I have so many ideas but so little time, so it's going a bit slower than I thought, but the ideas are there, and I'm pretty sure, you know, once everything is rolling, it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, I asked because, as I mentioned, I'm not an expert in real estate. And for example, some real estate what companies, they get you, well, they buy or yeah, you can get a house with them. Also, or in another cases, they just develop, I don't know, in an area, I don't know, like a building of apartments, and you just, and you know, that's the thing. In the case of this company, what is
The connection.
no. What is the company, the function for the clients? It's just to sell houses, or just develop some, I don't know, buildings or whatever, and resell them to another big company. So how it works?
It really depends on what the mission is, but usually developers, you know, they have their plans, and they have their interested parties that might be investing in for them to actually build these buildings. And then as a real estate agent, if you work with them, you get the people to then rent it out, or maybe to buy it, so that the initial investors get their money back. So it really depends on what you're doing, but we're not, at least at the moment, working with a developer company exclusively. I know there's some real estate agents that do that, but we haven't been in the market long enough for people to know us. So we're still working on that department.
Okay, so your company, Dopal, it works directly with Keller Williams, right?
Yes, yes. So
Okay.
all the trainings, all the knowledge we get from Keller Williams, but then again, I mean, we work independently. So it's not like Keller Williams is giving us a list of clients they have. It's not like that. We need to find our own clients and prospecting, etc. So that's on us. That's our job.
Okay, it's complicated. So still not get it, but still not get it exactly what you do, but well, sounds nice. Oh,
It is, it is. It is such a nice job, actually. Yeah.
okay. Do you think that Czech Republic is a country where there is diversity and inclusion?
I think they still need to work a little bit on that one. But then again, if I'm honest, if I take a walk outside, I don't see so much diversity. It's still mostly Caucasian from what I've observed. Maybe it's also just the areas I'm in, but they're working on it, as any other country is in the European Union, I believe.
Yeah, it's not the same in Germany, or maybe Spain. Also, there are a lot of expat. And what about well-being? It's a place where there is well-being.
I do believe so, yes. So they do have a little spa culture. They have beer spas, and they go to sauna. They're quite healthy people, actually. So they're very outdoorsy. They go for hikes the entire weekend, canoeing. They love tennis. They have very good tennis players as well. So very, very fit people, I would say, in general. They
Very
cultivate.
sporty.
Yes, they are. They are.
That's
So
nice.
I do believe there is that well-being as well.
And okay, now let's talk about the basics of the country. Tell us
Mhm.
about the food. Some dishes that everybody should taste if they move to Czech Republic.
So the first one, and I'm pretty sure every Czech person will agree with me, it's called svíčková, which is tenderloin. And it comes with a very nice sauce and some dumplings. It's delicious. It's absolutely delicious. If it's done right, it melts in your tongue. It's that soft. It's very good. And another one, which is my personal favorite, are fruit dumplings. So basically, it's a dumpling made out of quark is like a bit thicker yogurt.
Mhm.
And inside they have either, depending on the season, they have either blueberry filling or plums, etc. So that's fantastic.
So like a kind of balls of yogurt? Yogurt?
Yes, but it's very thick. So it's thicker than yogurt, but I know that in Latin America they don't have quark. So just to explain how it looks like.
Kind of. Okay.
So it's a dairy product, but it's very thick.
Wow,
It's very nice.
interesting.
It's very good.
So it's sweet.
Yes, it's a sweet dish. Usually they make a little sauce out of butter, sugar, and poppy seeds. It's very good. Trust me.
Nice.
Very good.
Yummy, yummy. What else? One other dish.
What else? I find that they have very similar cuisine to what I know from back home. So they also have a lot of sauerkraut, and they have marinated cheese, which you can find in if you go to the pubs here. So that one is very strong in taste. So you eat it basically with some bread, and sometimes you can even take some raw garlic and put it there on the bread. So that's very good. And then they have very good beer.
Oh yeah, they're very famous for the beer. Yeah, right.
Yes. So the beer is actually very, very nice. And if you travel around here, you will find beer spas. So they have tiny breweries, and then they will let you bathe in beer, and then you will get a facial out of yeast from the beer which they brewed. So it's quite exciting. If you ever,
it's something different. Something different. I never heard.
it's so much fun. It's very nice. And of
Beer
course you
spa.
drink beer while you're bathing in beer and having a yeast face mask. So that's a lot of fun.
Well, if you love the beer, because in my case, I hate beer. So
Oh no,
for me, it's like, yeah, so sad.
Don't worry, because the Moravian part of the country, they're also well known for their wines. So you can go for wine tasting
I love
there.
wine.
So don't worry, they also have wines.
That is good news for people who don't like beer. Okay, and lifestyle, how the people in Prague spend their time? You always mention a little bit about sports, hiking, but what else?
What else? So I mean, there's a lot of culture in Prague. Whatever big happens in the Czech Republic usually happens in Prague. So museums, concerts, etc. It's all here. So they have a very big offer, which you would find in any other city in Europe as well. So depending on your likings, you just go out and do it, right? So you can go from cheap to very expensive, depending on your budget. And I mean, if you really have nothing else to do, you just go and take a walk along the river, which is so beautiful.
Wow, I remember that this woman that I mentioned before, that she used to live in Czech Republic. She lived in Prague. Told me about the auction. I don't know. It's a normal auction art. No, auctions about art. I don't know. In her time when she lived in Prague, she mentioned about auctions, all the stuff. But I don't know if it was something random or really it's something common in Prague.
So I haven't heard about it. So maybe, when things are open, there might be something, but nothing comes to mind right now. So maybe there was an auction at that point, which she enjoyed, but I honestly don't know. Sorry.
No problem. It's okay. And also it's maybe an experience, when you're focused on any, she returned to USA and she told me, I'm very frustrated because in Prague, I used to go to the museums, all the stuff. And here in the States, it's not the same. And I remember something about art, but maybe it was some particular time. It was 10 years ago. So situation changes. And tell us about the culture and costume tradition, something that you can mention about costumes, traditions.
Yes, so it's very interesting because I think the Czech Republic is #1 country in the world of being atheist. So most people, they don't follow a specific religion. However, they do celebrate Christmas and Easter. So they will go to church, etc., and pay their respect and go to the cemetery as well. So that's something that strikes me as very interesting. They still have that tradition there, even though they don't practice it anymore, at least most of the people I've met. So that is something very interesting.
And do they have the Christmas markets?
Oh yes, yes, they do. They do, and it's so gorgeous. They have a big Christmas tree in the middle of the city center, and I mean everywhere around the city center. And they have these little stalls where you can get sausages, or you can get some mulled wine, which is very nice when it's cold, and you know it's just fantastic time to be here. And they actually have the Christmas markets open for a longer time than they do in Germany. Germany traditionally on the 23rd of December they close them. And here they have them open, I think, until the 8th of January. So even after Christmas, you can go with your family for a stroll and just, you know, meet friends and drink some wine and have some snacks.
Wow. So it's a good tradition about the Christmas. It's big for them.
Yes, so at home, you know, traditionally here they will have fish. They will have carp with the family, which they get fresh from the fishermen that bring it in barrels to sell it on the street, basically. And then they will make potato salad, and you know, for me they celebrate it like we do in Germany. So on the 24th, you will have Christmas dinner. You will be elegant, and you will exchange gifts.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
but any other traditions out of religions? Situation, no tradition, something that they celebrate in a particular way. For example, here in Mexico we celebrate you know, death is very important for us, and we celebrate it with that's very famous, you know, the way that we celebrate it's kind of that thing on a holiday or something, but it's like
no, not that I'm aware of. No, I hope I'm not missing something important here, but nothing comes to mind. No.
no, you know, not all countries have so much tradition or customs. And in the case of women, is really a safe place? Is it a safe place for women?
Yes.
So, you know, to walk around and.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I've observed like people are so are gentlemen. You know, they will get up for you in the tram or in the metro to let you sit down, especially if you're pregnant or if you're an elderly person. They will let you sit down. So very, very educated. You know, they're also very polite the way they talk, etc. So, and to come back to your original question, yes, I feel absolutely safe. And I mean, general caution as you would in any city, right? So if you feel it's a dodgy alley, just don't go there. But other than that, I think it's absolutely safe for women.
Wow, Prague.
Yes.
Good to know. You know, not all places have this benefit for women. And the accommodations, now that you, and also that you work in real estate, you can say with numbers very specific. Compare, for example, an apartment in an area that is not so, maybe so modest, but not so fancy, you know, in the middle for middle class. Mm-hmm. How much does it cost to rent an apartment in Dubai? How much in Germany, for example, if you have the number, and how much in Czech Republic, in order to compare the fees in euros?
Yeah, so it depends a little bit of if the house inside is renovated or not. And I mean, I'm talking about Prague now. So I've seen, you know, very, very nice apartments that are very small, but the allowance they would, or the rent they would ask of you is very high, because then they have, you know, a private cellar for wines, etc. downstairs. So it gets from that posh to very, I want to say, rundown apartments as well. So I think that there's a lot of investors buying these sort of apartments and making them nice. You see, when you go online, you see a lot of Airbnb businesses that are from private people that are running Airbnbs. So this is something that also, due to the pandemic, has changed a little bit. So they're trying to rent them out full time. But you will see a lot of very gorgeous Airbnbs in very good locations. Whereas,
but in numbers, if you can give it's difficult but just to have an idea, how much for an apartment or for a house in an area that it's middle class, for middle class, and Just
I want to say that the cheapest I've seen, and this is still Prague, was around 450 euros for a 1-bedroom apartment. And one bedroom, meaning one bedroom, and then you have another room, which is the kitchen and the living room, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I want to say 60 square meters. So that will be around 430, if I remember correctly, but that was already a bit outside of the city center. And then, I mean, you can go all the way up.
Okay. And how much for the same space in Dubai or Germany? How much would you pay for that?
So I want to say generally the apartments in Dubai are bigger and way more generous because they have the space. So you will always find at least one bathroom and one toilet separate, like one full bathroom, one toilet, and then you will have normally you will find very big bedrooms and quite spacious living rooms as well. And I want to say, depending again on the area, and in Dubai, it really depends where you're living. If you live in a modest area, you will be paying for a 1-bedroom apartment, I want to say around 800 euros.
800. It's more expensive, but it's because it's bigger.
It's more expensive, but it's also bigger. Yes, and also in Dubai, people earn more usually than the average in Czech Republic.
Interesting. Yeah, it's logical. You make more money. It's more expensive, but you pay more rent. You know, it's more.
So the lifestyle in Dubai can be very expensive. Here, you do see a difference between the capital and if you compare it with a city like Brno, which is the second biggest city, but it's almost half the price in rent than it is in the capital.
And in Germany, do you have an idea or not?
In Germany, I can roughly say that everything is going up from what I've observed, but I haven't been active in the German market, and this is just hearsay. It's quite expensive, especially in cities like Hamburg, Berlin, and Munich. It's going up that people are trying to build a law against it because for a 60 square meter apartment, they're asking 1,500 euros. So that's a lot of money. That's almost half of what you probably earn if you're a good earner. And then you need to pay taxes. So it's getting a bit out of hands. And as far as I know, they're not building enough. Where in Dubai, it's cranes everywhere and they're building like crazy.
Interesting to know the differences in each area, you know, in each country. Well, we talk about the language. Now tell us about the weather. How's the weather in Czech Republic?
It's like in Germany, I must say. So you can have very beautiful days where it's sunny and nice, and then you have 10 days where it's raining and it's a bit gray. So it's quite a change from Dubai, where it's always sunny. But I'm used to this kind of weather from when I was still a student, so I learned how to cope with it. But the air outside is always fresh. Like I don't have the feeling like there's too much pollution here, whereas in Dubai sometimes you could not see far just because of the smog.
Yeah, so but for example, does it snow in Czech Republic?
Yes, it snows. Actually, we had snow, I think, last week even. So this year, the spring is really taking its time to come. But yes, you have all 4 seasons in the Czech Republic.
Yeah, because some countries, they have more winter than other, but in Czech Republic, it's like they have the 4 seasons clearly, or it's more cold, more winter, the weather.
Clear. It's usually, I want to say it's 3 months well, maybe the summer is feels a bit shorter. But compared to Dubai, where you have hot or very hot, and this is all you have, you have all 4 seasons here. So now this spring is arriving, things are going to start blossoming, and then later in autumn you have these beautiful leaves, you know, that are golden red and brown, and you know, this is just so elegant. I love it.
What is the best day to visit Czech Republic? If I'm a tourist and I want to visit, what is the best month or this period of the time that you suggest people should go for the weather, the
I'm not
good
a fan
weather?
of summer. I'm not a fan of summer, especially if I go as a tourist, because I don't want to feel like sweating all the time when I'm walking around. So I would suggest either spring or autumn, unless you come for the Christmas season to see all the Christmas markets and enjoy that. But then you will have to wear a coat, which is not even that bad when you go sightseeing. You know, I prefer to wear a coat than to be sweating.
Yeah, but for example, for the people in Latin America, we're not used to to the snow. So for us,
Yeah.
it's very complicated and it's very uncomfortable
Okay.
to go outside with the snow because we're not used to. So
No,
some people suggest that we don't go.
yeah. Then probably spring. And if you're okay with the heat, I mean, it doesn't get so hot here anyways, then summer is fine as well.
Yeah, yeah. Each place is different. For example, a woman told me that to go to Paris, it's better in August, for example.
Okay. So no, it really depends on your personal preference, and also each season has its charms and has its highlights. Like, you know, when you have in spring, you might have a bit more like music outside, and then in summer it's more focused on this. So you always have something to look forward to and to come back to visit.
Well, it depends on your taste, your style, your taste. Because,
Yeah.
for example, for Christmas, for people who love Christmas, would be amazing for the
Yeah.
markets and the lights and all the stuff. But
It's
if you
very
hate the
true.
weather,
Yeah, weather it's a thing, but then again, if you're enjoying your time, then what is a little rain or a little snow, I guess, at the end of the day.
yeah. Okay. If you could say us, you could say what are the do's and don'ts to live in Czech Republic. What would you say? The do if you live there, and the don'ts if you live in Czech Republic.
You know, this one is a bit difficult for me to say because I haven't observed anything like it. And as I said, I mostly am around expats as well. So I think, you know, just observe what are people doing. If you see here people, you know, they wait until the light goes green. So you do the same, you know, you don't just run over the street. Like little things like this is where I always observe how are people behaving outside. So I try to adapt a little bit to that. You know, for example, if you're in New York, people just walk. They don't care if the traffic light is green or red or yellow or blue. They do whatever they want. They're in a hurry. So I adapt a little bit to that. So I would suggest, you know, if you come here, do as the locals.
Okay, but many suggest, things that you should do and things that you not should do if you live in Czech Republic. No, there is no
No,
specifics.
just a personal petition. If you could not get drunk on the streets, because you see a lot of tourists doing this, you know, with the beer being so cheap here as well. So this is something, if I can consider myself as a local now, is something we don't like to see. I don't think you come here to do that. Like, show a little bit of respect and people will be happy to have you.
I can't even, oh my gosh. Oh, yeah, there are some people who don't care.
Crazy.
Yeah. And for example, when someone moves to Czech Republic, what places they should visit first? The basics.
The basics is you need to come to Prague. You need to walk around. It's a very walkable city, so you don't need to drive anywhere. And as I mentioned before, there's so many Airbnbs, so you can be just in the city center. You step outside and you can just have a wonderful walk. Then once you've done this, there are also like very, very nice places to visit around. Castles. They have so many castles in the Czech Republic, very charming. And then there's other cities like Karlovy Vary, which is known for its spa. So you go there, you know, if you want to have a nice treatment. You also have this here, but you know, you can visit other cities that are not that far away. In Brno, there's one of the biggest spas in the Czech Republic called Infinite Maximus. And I've been there, and I must admit, I've never seen saunas that look so gorgeous from inside. And they have, you know, you go outside and they have benches to lie down and to relax. So that is, you can see it's made with so much love that you just enjoy being there. So that is Brno. And And then there are other smaller cities that are just worth visiting just to try out. You know, go there, go into a local restaurant, just point at something and, you know, let yourself be surprised to eat something, try their local beer. So, but definitely if you come.
Can you name some of the local brands, more famous local brands of beer?
One that comes to mind is Radegast. So they, that one is one. Then I think this one you should know in Mexico as well, Pilsen. La Pilsner, that's from a city here in the Czech Republic.
Oh, yeah.
Republic. So that comes from there. And then they have so many different smaller breweries as well that you can just come here and just try through.
Wow. What's it's in the downtown where there is very famous area where it's like a kind of, I remember the building with a clock. It's in the downtown?
Oh, yes. That's in the city center. That's in the city center, and you will find millions of tourists around it. So if you want to go there, go early. If you want to have a nice picture just of yourself, otherwise you'll have to wait until, you know, the tourists just give each other space. But that's very gorgeous. And you will find the Christmas market, they have a big one right next to it. Nice. Yeah, bars and restaurants. Yeah, that is something you need to see. It's very nice.
And Marimar, do you know any website, association, Facebook group that you recommend for people who are expat?
So if you come to visit, I would definitely try TripAdvisor. They have tours you can book in advance, also outside of the city. Then Time Out Prague has some good articles. And then there's a bit more local one. It's called expats.cz. And they have local news in English. So that one is targeted at expats in the Czech Republic. So that one is one I personally follow to know what's going on here.
Yeah, as an expat in English, that is very good resource. And in your case, because your husband is from there, you don't have problem with the visa to live there. No immigration.
Also being German, it's not an issue. But I also have friends that are Mexicans that live here and they didn't have an issue, but they're married, so they're married to someone. So, but I haven't heard of people having an issue coming here. I mean, it's always wise to figure this out before you travel here. I mean, tourist visa is never an issue, but if you want to stay here as a resident, do your due diligence before.
Yeah, and talk to a lawyer. It's the basic tip.
Yes.
Okay, you have lived in different places in a lot of countries, but what is the one that you consider yourself that is the most your favorite?
You know, that one is a very difficult question for me to answer. I wanted to say before I moved to Dubai, it would have been El Salvador, because that was when I spent my childhood and I was the happiest in my life. But then in Dubai, I learned that home is where the heart is. And being with my husband there and now here, I realized, you know, the most important thing you need to keep close is your family. So no matter where you are, you're going to be happy.
And so you pick Dubai, well, the city of Dubai. What is the thing that you miss the most of living in Dubai?
Dubai is very fast paced, so I miss that. I miss the action. You know, one day you go somewhere and there's a new cafe, the next day there's something else there. Then people also rotate in a very quick way in Dubai. People come and go all the time. So no matter where you go, you will always find or meet someone that has a very, very interesting life story, how they got there and what they're doing. It's so diverse. It's so fast paced. It's amazing. I love it. So that's something I really miss.
Diversity.
Yes, it's fantastic. It's really good. And it's an inclusive city. If you want to make the most of Dubai, you really can. You will always find people that are not happy with their situation. You will find them wherever you are.
But that it's in everywhere, everywhere.
It's everywhere, and I try to surround myself with people that are positive. So you go and you find those people, and then you're gonna be happy no matter where you are. But Dubai, that's what I learned to really love from that place.
So finally, two last questions. The first, how did you manage to be competitive in Czech Republic? So tell us your keys of success.
Well, first of all, I found a boss that believes in me, and she's giving me a chance. So I feel, as I mentioned before, that is just luck, I guess. And the second thing is my languages, because I speak 3 languages fluently and some others, at least the basics. That's giving me a huge advantage to other people, and also the fact that I traveled so much and what I've done in the past. So all of that combined just is really giving me a competitive advantage to other people.
What are the languages that you speak? English?
So I speak fluently English, Spanish, and German. Then I speak French. I speak basic Chinese, Mandarin, and basic Russian.
Wow. Oof.
But I haven't practiced some of them in a long time, so it might be a bit rusty by now. So, but officially German, English.
But three are very good, Congratulations.
Yeah,
So that is key, very competitive for the languages and all the things you mentioned before. And finally, what is the secret that nobody told you and you'd have liked to know when you moved to Czech Republic? Mm-hmm. Something that you say, oh, if I knew before, it would be easier for me. The secret, nobody told you.
The secret is to just believe in yourself first, and then you radiate that, and people will start believing in you as well. I think that is the thing. You really need to realize what your worth is, and then go out there and just show that to the people, because it will attract the right ones, and they will see that, and they will say, I want that person to work for me, or I want to work with that person, or whatever. So I think that is a key ingredient.
Yeah, but for example, you, in your case, some information, something that nobody told you when you moved, but when you were there, you discovered something that you said, oh my gosh, if I have knew this, maybe my life would be different. No? Something in particular?
Nothing big. Just for me, it was a bit of a relief. At first, I thought I would really have to speak Czech fluently to be able to do anything here. And then I realized it's not necessary. And I don't want to discourage people to learn the language, but it makes life easier, right? So that is something that I discovered, but it's not that massive. It was just a little relief for me, and to know that I can integrate quickly even though I don't speak the language.
Well, but that is good to know, to share this secret, Well, Marimar, thank you very much for this conversation and to learn more a little bit the life in Czech Republic and your experience in real estate, your work. Thank you for being here today with us in Women Abroad.
Thank you so much for having me.
So see you in next episode. Thanks for listening. Visit our website www.welum.com section Women Who Inspire. And don't miss our next episode.